My family has a budget we create yearly. My husband and I sit down at the kitchen table or in the living room, and we do our best to figure out what our family is going to need for the year. We know if we don't budget for books, our kids won't read as much. We also know if we don't put any money towards sports, our kids won't be able to play with their teams. Our state has been passing budgets for decades that don't provide enough money for our kids to get a proper education, while pretending it doesn't have an impact. But we all know it does. Imagine there's an 11-year-old girl who has a physical and emotional disability that makes school challenging for her. She sometimes has to wait for hours to get picked up by her school bus because the county she lives in doesn't have enough funding for transportation. She also lacks the support to be successful with her disability. The Leandra Long-Term Action Plan will provide additional school support staff, such as nurses, psychologists, counselors, and social workers, which would allow students like her to be successful. There's a 7-year-old boy somewhere in our state whose first language isn't English, and he's struggling to learn. His school only has enough money for one ESL teacher for far too many students. Instead of keeping pace with other students, he falls behind. He blames himself, loses confidence, and becomes a frustrated student. He could be thriving, but our budget choices have prevented that. The Leandra Long-Term Action Plan would address his needs directly by increasing funding for the support and services his education depends on. There's a working mom who's looking for early education opportunities for her 4-year-old daughter. She's not finding any options for her child and instead is put on a long wait list. She isn't giving up hope, but there's other parents who have told her they've tried and never made it in. She knows it's critical for her daughter to get early education, so she is better prepared on the first day of kindergarten. We know investments in early childhood education helps create the foundation for a successful K-12 experience. The Leandra Long-Term Action Plan would help get North Carolina closer to providing high-quality support to all our early learners. North Carolina lawmakers, you have a choice. You can pass a budget that reflects a deep commitment to our children and meets the needs of our most vulnerable students. Or you can fail to act and tell the next generation of North Carolina children that their futures don't matter. All of our lawmakers need to pass a budget that looks at what our kids need to learn and provides it. By including the recommendations of the Leandra Long-Term Action Plan, you can make the right choice. Join our movement at Every Child NC.